Well, most of the community is very tired of Madden, but I got you. In this video, I'm going to give you 8 games that I think are all better than Madden 22 currently. Some of them are older, some of them you might be very surprised by, and the most expensive one on this list costs $30. Some of them are completely free. Let's get into it. Now, these first 2 games are kind of classified in the free, and they are older games that were made quite some time ago. The first one is NCAA 14. And if you've been living under a rock anywhere, you know NCAA 14 has been modded and revamped, and they have a new and improved gameplay with all the teams updated, roster updates. You have new and improved uniforms, and the game plays so good. It actually is very nostalgic if you got to play NCAA 14 way back when, and it makes you realize how far EA Sports has fallen when it comes to their football games when you get to play this game. Now, much like the next game I'm going to be talking about, you do either have to have a copy of the game or you have to find an emulator online that you can do. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but if you look around the internet, you might be able to find a good emulator that will let you play this game and mod it and change it and download the file so that you can play it either on your PC. The easiest way is if you do have a current copy of your game, you can download the files, have a thumb drive, input that into your old PlayStation or Xbox, and then you will have the modded version of the game. It's so much fun to play, especially since NCAA has gotten delayed again and it isn't looking till about 2023 until we can play the new NCAA football game. Second on this list is just like NCAA. It was made quite some time ago and is the best football game, in my opinion, ever made, and that is All Pro Football 2K8. And yes, just like NCAA 14, you are going to have some type of emulator, or you will have to have the hard copy of the game on an old generation console to play it. But when you get to play this game, you just understand how great the physics and the movement was in it. It felt so real and realistic, and it's just so fun to play. I still play it. I actually streamed it a few times on the channel, so it's just so much fun to play, and it's better than Madden, and it's like 15 years older than Madden 22. I mean, that's sad. Next 2 games on the list are the most expensive on this list, but they are available on all 3 platforms, meaning they're available on console and they're available on PC. So the first one, Axis Football 21. Axis Football comes in at $29.99 on Steam and on whatever store you have for PlayStation or Xbox. And as mentioned before, it is the most expensive game on the list. Axis Football, in my opinion, is the closest game on this list to Madden 22, or really just Madden series in general. The people over at Axis Football do describe their game as a simulation styled game. So that's a very big thing. If you're looking for something that's not very arcadey or unrealistic like some of the games that I'm going to list in this video, then Axis Football is probably going to be your best bet. And it's probably the reason why it's also the most expensive. Now, as far as gameplay, it's probably the weakest part of Axis Football. And it's a thing that developers have understood and have mentioned to the community that they're really going to work on in the next few updates of the game. And I would really think of the gameplay as more of a watered down version of Madden 22, but where this game really shines is in its customization and deep franchise modes within the game. If you're really sad with the way that franchise mode is currently in Madden 22, I know that I am, and a lot of the community is, then Axis Football 21 is probably going to be right up your alley because there is so much customization. The franchise is so deep, and it's actually fulfilling when you do win or when you do have success within the franchise. And when I mean you have customization, I mean you have customization. You can change simple things like the town, the cities being played. You can completely change the way the uniforms look, the team names, and yes, there is a create a team feature. You can create a team, something you can't even do in Madden. Next on the list that's available for pretty much anyone, PC or console players alike, is Mutant League Football. And I have to admit, Mutant League Football is not a game that I have actually played, but I've looked at a lot of the gameplay style and mechanics, and it seems like a pretty fun game. One of the reasons why I haven't played it is because it's really kind of the most archaic, over-the-top game on the list, and it's something that kind of really pushes the envelope. But if you're looking for a lot of animation and gore and violence and over-the-top football gameplay, then Mutant Football League might be exactly what you're looking for. This game is absolutely funny to watch. I mean, there's gore and violence and dismemberment and things coming up from out of the field to stop you from running and making big plays. there's traps. I mean, this game really has it all. And if you're wanting something that, again, is very exciting and fun and kind of a very different than any other game out on the market, but you still want to kind of have a football experience, then Mutant League Football coming in at $19.99 might be what you're looking for. Now, just to clarify, the next two games on my list are currently only for PC players only. So if you're not playing PC, then unfortunately you won't have access to these games. But the first one is one that I've already covered on my channel, and it is called Sunday Rivals. Sunday Rivals costs $14.99 as well, and it's more of an arcade style game. Reminds me a lot of kind of Roblox football. One of the cool things about the game is that there is a ton of customization. They even have sliders in the game, and you know how much I love my sliders. They have also a new coaching mode. The game is constantly getting updated. When I first covered the game on my channel, one of my biggest problems was that the playbook was very condensed with limited amount of plays, but since then they have actually changed that up. They've added more plays, made the game more dynamic. They've added a coaching mode where you can actually change the way your game plays, and Sunday Rivals really is a game that is constantly getting updated and changed, and you can tell that the developers really care about the game, care about the community, and really want to see the game thrive. Again, I don't think it's a game that you're going to stick with throughout the course of a year that's going to replace Madden, and I said that in my initial video, and I still kind of hold true to that just because of the way the game feels when you're actually playing it. But it does switch up the monotony of Madden. I do think it's worth a play and buy. And if you really like Roblox football, that kind of polygonal look to the game, then I think Sunday Rivals is going to be a game that you will thoroughly enjoy. Second up on the PC only game is probably a tie for my favorite football game currently, and that is Legend Bowl. The cool thing about Legend Bowl is that the developer, pretty much a one-man guy who came from EA, he left EA, he was working on Madden to create a football game that people like. Now, this game is more of an 8-bit style game, but King Yavo, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that name right, he has a YouTube channel. He has done so much for the football community, and this game is freaking awesome and a ton of fun. If you can get over the 8-bit style of the game, this game offers a lot of customization and in-depth gameplay abilities. You can actually just have a coaching mode that he just implemented so that you can just watch the game unfold. You can choose the plays and see if your team wins the game or not. Now, the one bad thing about this game that is really a big complaint in the community is that there is no franchise mode. This game only offers a season mode, but the cool thing about King Yavo is that he's allowed the game to be completely modded, and he has a lot of different mods that you can create and implement into the game so that you can carry over all the stats in your team from season to season so that you kind of have a quote unquote franchise mode in the game. And while I think I said that was an 8-bit game, it's technically a 16-bit game, but the game, regardless, whether it's 18, 16, 7, or 1-bit, the game is so much fun every time I play it. And I think the cool thing behind it is that because he allows the community to mod the game, you can get all of the NFL teams in the game, or you can create a whole new league. You can put anybody in the game. Every facet of this game is customizable, and I think that's what makes the game so much fun. Now, this game comes in at $19.99. I think I said the other game was the second most expensive. Now, this is the second most expensive game, but in my opinion, is well worth the $20 that you're playing. I'm actually surprised that the game hasn't went up any more than it currently has. And all of the reviews on Steam are very positive. So if you happen to be a PC player and you're looking for a good football game to play, especially for just customization and just having a good feel to the game, I mean, little things like there's a chain gang that comes out onto the field to measure how close you are to the game. You actually get a coin flip at the beginning. There are real advertisements in your stadiums. This game is totally worth your time. I hope you get to play it because it is one of my favorite on the list. All right, so the next two games on this list are for our mobile users, and they are really, really fun games to play. Now, they don't offer a ton of customization and changes and all these different things because these are mobile games. But the first on this list is Retro Bowl, and much like Legend Bowl, it is an 8-bit type game. And this game is completely free and totally worth your time. I cannot tell you how many times I've been sitting waiting in the doctor's office or getting my car serviced or changed or just needed to kill 15, 20, 30 minutes, and I've turned this game on, gotten lost in it, and had so much fun. The game is very challenging. It's fun to play. It's hard to master. You have to do a really good job of monitoring your team and keeping players year after year. You only have to worry about, I think, 8 to 10 players at most. Everything else is AI controlled. And the weird thing about this game is even though you're not controlling every single player and you don't have to worry about all of their contracts, the 8 to 10 or 6 to 8 players that you get to control, it's kind of difficult to keep them around. They've done a really cool job with that, where you're not controlling all 52 players, you're only controlling a select few, but it's still complicated and complex. I like it. It's a fun game to play. You should download it on your store, on your phone. It's free. Give it a go. Let me know what you think of it. And last on this list, I think I saved the best for last, especially if you're looking for a realistic simulation, kind of controlling the team, but you don't really get to play it type of scenario. And I've put these out on my channels, the CPU versus CPU sliders. I said that's the best way to play Madden, just because you get to watch it, see how your team unfolds, because the gameplay in Madden is so animation based, it's kind of broken. But this game costs $1.99. And if you don't play any of the games I listed, you should play this one. Costs $1.99. If you don't like it, let me know. I'll refund you your money because it's totally worth it. And this game is called Pocket GM. The cool thing about this game is that there's a draft, there's free agency. You get to watch the game unfold, not play by play, but you kind of get to see a box score gamecast style of the game. But this game has scratched an itch for me that I feel like the Madden community and the football community in general has been looking for, where you have total control over your team, where you can sign players, you get to draft players, and then you just watch the game unfold in front of your eyes. Madden, for some reason, has not had this for quite some time, but this game really just focuses on the general manager portion of American football, and I love every second of it. I cannot tell you, when I actually get a chance to play in the Super Bowl or make the playoffs and we win it, I feel so accomplished. When I draft a good player, I feel like I've actually done something. And for $1.99, this game was well worth it. And I think there's a Pocket GM 19 and 20, so you might be able to find those on your phone for even cheaper than $1.99. But the updates that they've done to the game, you know, just have made it more balanced so that you can't take advantage of certain things within the game. And I think playing the new updated version is totally worth your time. But guys, that's it. There are 8 games that I think are currently better than Madden 22. Let me know if you've played any of them down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, if you learned something, then hit that like button for me, and I'll catch everybody on the next one. Peace out.